What's up, YouTube? Timmons here. Well, February is pretty much two more days here, and lots of interesting movies to look forward to in the month of February. So, here is my official top 10 anticipated films coming out in February. All right, number 10 is the film that actually got a couple of BAFTA nominations and all. It's a movie called Pelion. Now, this stars Alexander Skarsgård and Harry Melling, and it's where Khan, who's a timid man, is sweat off his feet when Ray, a dramatic and possibly handsome biker, takes him on his semesters here. And I gotta say, the trailer does look intriguing. Does look pretty filthy there. So there's that. Skarsgård, Harry Mellon's a pretty cool actor, so it does look intriguing. So hopefully that's a good one. All right, number 9. Technically, this film here got a limited release this week, but it's opening a little wider next week. Number 9 is The Moment. Now, The Moment is the new Charlie XCX film, which has an interesting cast. You got, the aforementioned Alexander Skarsgård, Rosanna Arquette, Haley Gates, Kylie Jenner, Rachel Sennett. Now, it did premiere at the Sundance Film Festival with some mostly mixed reviews. Better reviews than The Weeknd's Hurry Up Tomorrow, that's for sure. But it's where a rising pop sensation navigates the complexities of fame and industry pressures while preparing for her arena tour debut. And of course, you got Charlie XCX, who is playing like a fictionalized version of herself. I really quite like Charlie XCX. I think she is a pretty talented singer. I like the cast that's involved. Does look intriguing, so hopefully that's a good one. All right, number 8 is Joe's College Road Trip. Now, if you guys don't know, this is actually pretty much like a Madea film, but it's actually the first Madea movie to not. Madea is obviously in it and stuff, but it's like the first Madea movie not to even be called Madea. It's more of a spin-off, if you will. Of Medea's brother, the Joe character, who I think steals so many scenes every time he's in the Madea franchise. And this is where realizing he may may have sheltered his son for too long, Brian agrees to send his son BJ on a college tour with his grandfather in hopes that Joe can teach him a thing or two about Black history and the real world. And yeah, I gotta say the trailer for this thing looks pretty hilarious. I mean, I think Joe, the last Madea movie was of course Destination Wedding. Some of the best, funniest moments in that was the Joe character. With the casino stuff and all. This guy is hilarious. So, and also it's rated R too, by the way. Usually rare to see a Madea movie that is actually full on R rated. If I'm mistaken, all the Madea movies has always been PG-13. So it's kind of interesting seeing a Madea movie that stops the R rate and is very raunchy and stuff. So I'm all for this. Now, Tyler Perry in recent years hasn't really, except that one movie he did with Roger P. Henson last year, Straw. That was pretty good. But for the most part, Tyler Perry hasn't had the best stuff lately. But I adore anything Madea related. So just that alone piques my interest. All right. Number 7 is a film called Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. Now, this is the new Gore Verbinski film starring Sam Rockwell, Zazie Beetz, Haley Lou Richardson, Michael Pena, Juno Temple, and many others, where a man from the future arrives at a diner in LA where he must recruit the precise combination of the Patreons to join him on a one-night 6-block quest to save the world from a terminal threat of a rogue artificial intelligence. And the trailer for this thing looks fun. I mean, Gore Verbinski's last movie was A Cure for Wellness, which I thought was horrible. But he is the guy who he also gave us Lone Ranger. But this is the guy who gave us The Ring, Pirates of the Caribbean, Rango, many others. So I'll give this the benefit of the doubt. Hopefully it is a good one, but we'll see here. All right, number 6 is Psycho Killer. Psycho Killer looks pretty interesting. This is a new horror film starring Georgina Campbell, who I really adore in The Barbarian. And you got Malcolm McDowell. You got Logan Miller from Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse. Got some cool cast members in this one. And here's what Psycho Killer is about. Following the murder of her husband, A Kansas Highway Patrol officer sets out on a journey to track down the perpetrators. She comes to realize that the man responsible is a sadistic serial killer, and the depths of his mental depravity and his sinister agenda is more twisted than anyone could have imagined. And the trailer for this thing does look pretty interesting. Definitely has a little bit of that Seven feel to it. It looks intriguing, so hopefully that's a good one. All right, number 5 is Crime 101. This is, of course, based on a Don Winslow novel starring Chris Hemsworth, Halle Berry. We also have Mark Ruffalo, Barry Keoghan, Corey Hawkins. Good cast here. Now, of course, it's where like a thief whose high stake heists unfold along the iconic 101 freeway in LA. Eyes the score of a lifetime, with the hope of this being his final job here. And this movie does look pretty interesting throughout. Chris Hemsworth looks great. Of course, Mark Ruffalo is great. I'm actually see this one. Hopefully, that's good. All right, number 4 is Goat. Now, this is actually having a early release, sometime like a 1 day, release next week, then wider the following week. But I'm gonna actually check this out. I'm gonna actually be watching this a little earlier, possibly. But Goat looks really hilarious. This is of course a new basketball anime film, which is actually produced by Steph Curry. When Will is a smart goat with big dreams, gets a once in a lifetime shot to join the pros and play Robot, a highly accessible co-ed, full contact sports dominated by the fast tests, fair cast animals in the world. And like I said, the trailer for this thing looks pretty hilarious. I love a good talking animal animated film. So, and it is also from Sony Animation, who just recently gave us K-pop Demon Hunters, the Spider-Verse movie. So, sign me up with this one. All right, number 3 is Wuthering Heights. Now, of course, Wuthering Heights is based on the book by Emily Bronte. Directed by Emerald Fennell, who of course obviously gave us Promising Young Woman, Saltburn. And this stars Margot Robbie and Jacob Elordi, where tragedy strikes when Heathcliff falls in love with Catherine Earnshaw, a woman from a wealthy family in 18th century England. And the trailer actually does a good trust, to say the least. This is supposed to have music from Charlie XCX, so there's that. It looks intriguing. I do quite like Fennell's previous work, so hopefully this is a good one, but we'll see here. Number 2 is How to Make a Killing. This is from the same director of Emily the Criminal, and it also stars Glenn Powell in it. Where, of course, the stone at birth by his obscuring wealthy family, blue-collar Beckett Redfellow will stop at nothing to reclaim his insurance, no matter how many relatives stand in his way. And you got the likes of Margaret Qualley, Jessica Henwick, Bill Camp, Zach Woods, Topher Grace, Ed Harris. Talk about some cool cast lists here. The trailers have looked pretty interesting. I like Glenn Powell, so I'm excited for this one. Hopefully it is a good one, but we'll see here. And is it surprise? My number 1 anticipated film of the month. I know it's getting controversy because of the whole Melissa Barrera situation and stuff. But I just love the Scream franchise, so my number 1 is obviously Scream 7. It is a shame that the whole situation with Melissa Barrera and stuff is touching this, brand and all. But I'm so excited for it nonetheless. I thought the trailers look really decent. I like the cast of crews here. Seeing, of course, Neve Campbell coming back, Courtney Cox, Matthew Lillard's coming back as well. I'm really pumped for this one, and I am hoping for the best of it. Really still weird we haven't gotten a new trailer yet. Hopefully that will change this week. That's a little worrisome when we haven't got like a second trailer, but we'll see. Hopefully it'll still be great. Anyway, that's pretty much it there. Here's my quick rundown. Number 10, The Moment. Number 10, Pelion. 9, The Moment. 8, Joe's College Road Trip. 7, Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. 6, Psycho Killer. 5, Crime 101. 4, Goat. 2, Wuthering Heights, 2, How to Make a Killing, and number 1 is Scream 7. Now, there's other movies coming out in February, obviously. And before you're asking, wait, where's Strangers Chapter 3? Wait, that's not on my list. Like, yeah, after the last, I'm still going to watch Strangers Chapter 3. Maybe it'll be better than the others. Who knows? Can't say I'm excited for that one. Let's see. Whistle, which I've not been hearing great things about, which is the new Daphne Keane horror film. Definitely not relationship goals. That looks terrible. That Elvis concert documentary called Epic. Elvis Presley concert. Directed by Bob Zerman, who gave us Elvis. I probably should have included that on my list. That actually looks really interesting. I can only imagine. I'm not too excited for that. I like the first one, but it's not go by. Let's see what else we got here. Cold Storage with Liam Neeson. Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie. Mimics looks interesting. Let's see what else we got here. And that's pretty much it there. There's probably other stuff coming out here and there. But let me let you guys, what are some films coming out in February you're interested in? Drop comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for notification. This is David Steiner.